BBC News with Sue Montgomery. Israel's military says 50,000 Palestinians have left the Gaza City area after Israeli forces opened the main road leading to the south of the Gaza Strip. The chief military spokesman said the limited pause of 5 hours was not a ceasefire. Speaking at a White House briefing, the national security spokesman, John Kirby, said that the US is urging its Israeli counterparts not to take military action that would harm fleeing civilians.
We continue to urge our Israeli counterparts not to take military action, strikes, that would put innocent civilians in greater harm's way, particularly in all cases, but certainly particularly in those cases where these folks are doing exactly what they've been asked to do, which is move out of North Gaza and into South Gaza and to collect near the crossing as we continue to try to get folks out.
The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, has said both Israel and Hamas have carried out war crimes in the conflict in Gaza. Mr. Turk was speaking at a briefing on the Egyptian side of the Rafah crossing with Gaza.
The atrocities that were perpetrated by Palestinian armed groups on the 7th of October were heinous, brutal and shocking. They were war crimes, as is the continued holding of hostages. The collective punishment by Israel of Palestinian civilians amounts also to a war crime, as does the unlawful, forcible evacuation of civilians.
Israel's spy agency Mossad has said that it has helped to foil an alleged plot to launch attacks on the Jewish community in Brazil. According to the Brazilian authorities, 2 men arrested in Sao Paulo appear to have links to the Lebanon-based Islamist group Hezbollah. The arrests were made on Wednesday. Katie Watson is in Sao Paulo.
This was an operation that, according to the federal police, was designed to stop terrorist preparation and obtain information on possible recruitment of Brazilians to commit extremist acts within the country. So 2 suspects were arrested here in Sao Paulo state, and there were a further 11 arrest warrants here in Sao Paulo, in the capital Brasilia, and in the neighbouring state of Minas Gerais. And they face charges of involvement in a terrorist organisation, participating in these preparations for terrorist acts, and that those charges could carry a maximum sentence of 15.5 years.
Donald Trump's daughter Ivanka has told a court in New York that she could not remember the details of property deals she handled at her father's firm. Although not a co-defendant, she had been called to testify as a witness at the civil fraud case that threatens the Trump family's business empire. World News from the BBC. A Republican-controlled committee in the US House of Representatives has issued subpoenas to Joe Biden's son and brother as part of its impeachment inquiry into the president. Republicans say Mr. Biden illegally benefited from his son's business dealings whilst he was vice president. Gary O'Donoghue reports.
This is a significant escalation in the impeachment inquiry, with House Republicans not just demanding that the president's son and brother appear before them in the coming weeks, but also requiring other family members, such as their wives, to give statements. Republicans claim that the president benefited from what they describe as influence peddling schemes hatched by his relatives, handing him millions of dollars in bribes. The White House has vehemently dismissed the claims, accusing Republicans of throwing spaghetti at the wall just to see what sticks.
16 men have been arrested in Italy and the United States as part of an operation targeting the powerful Gambino crime family. The family is one of 5 prominent New York area mafia syndicates, collectively known as La Cosa Nostra. Among those arrested was a captain in the family, Joseph Joe Brooklyn Lani. The charges against the men include racketeering, extortion, witness retaliation, conspiracy and fraud. Slovakia's new government has rejected a previously drafted plan to donate military aid to Ukraine. The $43 million package had been put forward by the country's outgoing defense ministry. The owners of a funeral home in the U.S. state of Colorado have been arrested after nearly 200 decaying bodies were found at the facility. An investigation began last month when police responded to reports of a foul smell coming from the Return to Nature funeral home. They discovered bodies that had not been stored properly. BBC News.